Andy, let's start with Garrett Wilson because throughout the week, one of the stories that everybody was talking about was why didn't Garrett Wilson play more snaps in week one? He was consistently open. In fact, Joe Flacco had him open for a touchdown and threw the ball about 20 feet over Wilson's head. And if you went back and watched the tape, he was open all day long. Mike LaFleur had a perplexing quote earlier in the week where he sort of went down the Denzel Mims road saying Garrett Wilson is very talented, but he has to get a handle on all the wide receiver positions. And so you started to get a sense of deja vu. But early on in this game, Andy, Garrett Wilson asserted himself. He had a touchdown early on. He had a whole bunch of big catches. And even though, as you mentioned before, he dropped a pass late in the game that would have been a first down, he was a couple of steps past the first down marker that seemed like a killer at the time. He comes back at the end of the game, catches the game winner. It's funny because I said right before that play, the one thing that the Browns have been unable to do all day was stop Garrett Wilson from getting open. That's where Flacco needs to go on that play, and it's exactly what Joe Flacco did because for all his faults and how we joked about last week, Joe Flacco being a statue and looking like he barely wanted to play, there's a reason why he's been in the league for 15 years. He's not a dumb guy. He knew exactly where to go with that ball in crunch time, and it was the right decision, so the Jets get that win. But before we get into anything else, this looked like the beginning of what could be a phenomenal NFL career. Only 2 games in, but you can already tell why the Jets loved him so much. Out of Ohio State. Absolute star potential. He was fantastic today. As I said, got open a lot last week. Flacco didn't see him and missed him on that potential touchdown. This week, Flacco went to him early and often. It paid dividends, and I have a feeling it's going to pay dividends a lot over the rest of the season and hopefully over the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, what more could you ask for than what Garrett Wilson did today? I mean, maybe not drop that pass in the fourth quarter, but other than that, he just wins matchups and gets open over and over and over again. I mean, when's the last time you could line up a Jets wide receiver at the goal line and be like, okay, if he beats his man, you throw the ball to him, he's going to score, and that's exactly what Garrett Wilson did for his first career touchdown early in the game in the second quarter. And if you look at Joe Flacco, obviously realized that he missed some opportunities last week because he was not going to miss an open Garrett Wilson, at least not, miss seeing him in this game. And it started from the first half. I don't know what the targets ended up at, but at halftime, Wilson had been targeted 7 times. No other Jets receiver had been targeted more than twice. And he was open just frequently because they couldn't handle him. And as you were talking about with that last play, the game-winning touchdown, Flacco said when he got the play call in the huddle, he started smiling because he knew Garrett Wilson was going to get open, and he knew he was going to throw him the ball before he even stepped up to the line of scrimmage, and it's exactly what happened. And I don't know the last time the Jets had a receiver who could do that, but I do know it was before I was on the beat and when I got in the beat in 2016. So they have not had a receiver who could do that, and this is his second career game. So I think the Jets are managing maybe like expectations and kind of trying to like slow everybody's roll on this kid because they see how good he is, but also, it is kind of a ridiculous. It's ridiculous to assert that because he doesn't know all the plays that he may not get as much playing time as he should, or know all the receiver positions as well as he should. That it would limit his playing time because when you're as good as this kid is, and you get open and you make tough catches, and you make a defense, the Bengals are going to have to worry about him and game plan for him next week. When you're that good, you can't stay off the field, and the Jets didn't keep him off the field today. And obviously, he rewarded that playing time with a performance that I think is going to be remembered for a long time, especially if Garrett Wilson becomes what it looks like he can become, which is a very good receiver in this league. He's already, I would say, it would be hard to argue right now that he's the best receiver on this team, which is insane when you're talking about being 2 games into his career.